everything right, it was you and me.
Hello everyone, my name is Nayeema and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to it if you are new. And today we are doing one of my absolute favorite tropes for today's recommendation Friday video. Also, if you see like stuff flying around, I'm sorry, there's like lint everywhere. It's May and I'm still trying to figure out a good place to film in my college apartment, but we won't have to deal with this for too long because I am moving. You see, like, why is there so much couch and not enough me? Like, I kind of hate that. We won't have to deal with this for much longer because I'm going home for summer very soon. And probably by the time you're seeing this, I'm probably already home. But today we are doing stalker romance videos. You guys know this is one of my favorite tropes. And I was having a hard time like narrowing it down because as much as I love stalker romances, I realized that I haven't really read that many of them. And I didn't want to sit here and recommend the same ones that I feel like I always recommend when it comes to like darker romances, which is Haunting Adeline and There Are No Saints. Like, you've heard me talk about them before. I wanted to talk about other things. You probably have heard me talk about the other books that I will mention already. These are some of the books that really made me love stalker romances. I'm not going to talk about those two just because, like I said, you've heard me talk about them so many times already. I'm very excited for today's video. I hope you all enjoy, and without further ado, let's get right into the stalker romance recs. I have no idea why I love them so much. I don't know, I kind of like the creepy aspect of it. I just love the obsession. It's just so fun for me to read about. So yeah, if you also like stalker romances or you're trying to get into them, then this video is for you. So the first book that I'm going to recommend is a little bit different because usually I read and usually I recommend stalker romances where the guy is the stalker and is so obsessed, but this one's a bit different because it is the girl, and that is The Unrequited by Saffron A. Kent. I like to describe Saffron's works as like Lana Del Rey-esque romance books. Like, they're just written in such a Lana Del Rey way, like so Lana Del Rey vinyl. I don't even know how to explain it. They just are. Love them so much for it because I'm a huge Lana stan. I love her. And The Unrequited just gives Lana. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but like I said, the girl is actually obsessed. We have our heroine Layla, and she has gone into trouble previously for being kind of obsessed. She ended up falling in love with like her stepbrother. It really freaked out their entire family. So when she gets sent away to college, it's kind of like for her own good. She wants to have like a fresh start. She doesn't think she's crazy. Like, she just needs like to just focus on herself and be better and not be so obsessive. That's her plan. As you can imagine, it doesn't go to plan because she takes one look at a guy on campus. She starts following him, and then she realizes that he is actually a professor at her college. So she enrolls into the class. She's obsessed. She's stalking, and it is so much fun. The professor is also married, and he is a complete asshole. He's super broody and arrogant and pretentious, but she still can't fight what's like building up inside of her, which is like this crazy obsession, infatuation with him. Layla notices that the professor is pretty lonely, and so she wants to know why and get down to like the root of the issue, but she doesn't realize that it's like feeding her obsession. They both just really connect on the whole unrequited level because he feels unrequited love for his wife, and she feels unrequited love from everybody that she's ever been around or interacted with. And so these two really just like comfort each other. She stalks him, and it's fun, and it's a little bit kind of just like, oh gosh girl, what are you doing? Like, stop, please have some decorum. But it's like fun, you know? Like, I just love like a girl obsessed because Miss Delulu girl over here can get like that. Not in that way, but just like super just crazed. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not making myself sound really good, but I can get like, I have a very obsessive personality. So not in the way where I stalk people, just like with different things. And I don't know, it was kind of fun to read about a different, like a girl being obsessed, which I feel like happens a lot, just not in our world of romance books. I feel like the next book that I'm going to recommend is Run, Posey Run by K.T. Wells. You guys, if you've been here for a little bit of time, you've definitely heard me talk about this book. I love this book. It is a sociopathic hero stalker romance. It's kind of like fixing relationships. It's so good and I love it so much. K.T. Wells has become one of my favorite authors by far with this series, and then also with her werewolf series. she can write. It's about our heroine Posey, and Posey fell really in love with our hero Dario, and when she falls in love with him, she believes that he is like her Prince Charming. He doesn't care about her past, like he just like wants to take care of her, until a video gets sent to him. And this is also kind of in the mafia context because he is in the mafia. I'm pretty sure he's like pretty high up in the like Italian mafia or something like that, but he gets sent a video of Posey having sex with someone else, and she has like a different hair color and all these things, and he gets pissed off. While she is trying to explain to him that that is not recent, that is like an old video with like an old boyfriend, he's being tricked, like it's not real. He just like does not want to hear it. He's like, do not ever let me see you again, or I will kill you, like, or I will kill you. And he's just done with it. He's pissed off. He hates her. So naturally she runs away because she's like, you don't have to tell me twice. You don't want to believe me? Fine, I'm leaving. She thinks to herself like, he's gonna realize he made a mistake and he's gonna regret it. And that's exactly what he does, because while she's on like running away, she decides to like taunt him and send him like text messages and give her like hints to where she is, and he's like, where are you? And she just won't, and he starts stalking her, and it is amazing. When he finally does get her back, she is not the same girl that he like once lived with him and they were in a relationship together, because she kind of starts realizing that he wasn't all that great. Like she was building him up in her own mind, and he's like fighting to like get back the girl that he like, the one that was so madly in love with him. And he's a sociopath, so he's like really just trying to like, okay, she liked when I did this before, why isn't she liking it now? Like da-da-da-da. Like he's trying to like connect the dots, and it's really like fixing relationships. And she realizes that like the way it was before wasn't ideal, and wasn't like, it wasn't like anything bad. She just feels like she realizes that he never really cared about her, and so now he has to like try to show that he does care about her. And it's so good. And the stalking, the whole chase thing was so much fun. And then when he does get her back, I was like, oh please. I was so proud of Posey. I was like, don't you dare go back to being lovey-dovey with him after the way he just treated you. And she does it, and I was like, yes girl, go make him beg. And that's what she does, and it is so good. Like I said, I love a sociopathic hero. I love the stalking. I love that he's like kind of, there's like a little bit of this chase elements in there, because he does chase to get her back, but then when he has her, he still has to chase, because it's just not the same. The next book that I'm going to recommend is He Hates Me by Rena Kent, and this is actually a duet. I absolutely loved this duet when I first read it. I think I read it either in 2020 or 2019. But these books are, I believe, from the first Stalker. No, I think these are like, they are probably the first Stalker romances that I've ever read, and they kind of fueled my obsession with them, and like I just love them so much because of this duet. So this book follows Jasper and Georgina, I believe is her name, and Georgina is a nurse at a hospital. There, Jasper is at this hospital to question another nurse, I believe. He sees Georgina give a really big like fake smile to some woman. Ever since then, like he is obsessed with her. Like he cannot stop thinking about her at all. He like wants to know like what's underneath the smile, and he wants to just like know everything about her. And so he starts stalking her, as you do. There's no like, let me ask you to coffee, which coffee dates, no, but like, let me ask you out, no. He just starts stalking her, 0 to 100. So he gets the apartment across from her, and he watches her and stalks her and goes into her apartment, and like she has cats, and the cats just see him walking into her apartment, and he becomes like the most perfect stalker until he finds an opening to enter her life. I just love it so much because he just became so like enraptured by her. Like literally, he has a pretty intense job. I believe it's like mafia, I want to say something along those lines, and he starts to mess up his job because of his obsession with Georgina, and he believes that like he just needs to be with her once and get it out of his system, and he even plans on killing her after, but he's like, he realizes that there's just no way that he could have her just once, and that he needs to keep this thing alive and breathing. And he just becomes so obsessed with her, and it is so much fun. The way he stalks her is just so fun. Like I love it, and I highly recommend. There are definitely triggers in this book. I believe there is like, she has some pretty dark sex fantasies that he wants to fulfill, so be aware of that before going into this duet. But it is truly amazing. Yeah, I believe these are some of the first stalker romances I got into, and I just loved them so much. The next book I'm going to recommend is actually a novella, and it is of course a Jessica Cain novella. This book also has breeding kink, so that is super fun, and that is As If I Wouldn't Fall by Jessica Cain. I believe this book came out in October of 2022, and when I read it I loved it so much. So our heroine and our hero have gone to high school with each other for the past 4 years, and ever since their freshman year the hero has been absolutely obsessed with her, but he won't say a thing to her. Like, guys will come up to her and he'll just give the look and they'll scramble off, but for the past 4 years they have not spoken a word to each other. He was always watching her and stalking her and making sure she's okay and obsessing over her, but like he just won't say anything to her, and she's like, well, maybe if he had asked me out, like I would give him a chance, but like he doesn't. He also works at a body shop, he owns like a car shop, or his family does, or something like that. And so when our heroine gets into an accident, she takes her car to him, and he's like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Like, he is so obsessed with her. He can't believe words are actually coming out of his mouth and going into her ears, and vice versa. Like, he just cannot believe it. Like, it is just everything that he wanted their conversation to always be for the past 4 years of high school. And really, she's like, I believe she didn't have much money, and so she's like, I'll do anything if you fix my car. I have to get this car fixed because it's actually her mom's car. And really the only thing that he wants is for her to keep his distance away from her, because he's like, if I have a taste of you, if I have you once, it's over. Like, it's done for. Like, you will be the mother of my children, you're gonna be my wife, like I'm not letting you out of my sight, so just stay away. And now she's kind of like intrigued. She's like, this could be fun. And so she like really badly wants him, and he has to like resist, because he's like, you don't know what I'm capable of. If you want like to be locked, chained next to me, chained by the ankle with me the rest of your life, then fine, keep playing this way. And so finally he gives in, and it is really intense, and he becomes even more obsessed, if that's even possible, and breeding kink is involved. Like, he just wants her in his life so bad, like in any capacity. And so yeah, this one's super fun. He is very intense, very in love with her, very stalkery, and it was good. It's also really short, so it's like a good like little quick fix. Jessica Cain does have a lot of stalker romances. I haven't found many that I love, but this one definitely was so good. And the last book that I'm going to recommend is Savage Hearts by J.T. 𝓫𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪. This is, I believe, the 3rd book in her Queens and Monsters series. I don't really think you have to read the other books to read this. However, I do recommend that you do, because I love this series with my entire chest, and the first 2 books are some of my favorites in the series. And this one is just a little cherry on top. So we have our hero, and he is a part of like one of the mafias or whatever, and he actually has a rival, and that is Declan, who is the hero in the 2nd book. And Declan recently killed someone that the hero really loves and cares for, and now he wants his revenge and to kill someone that he really cares for. So naturally he starts stalking Declan, and is like, okay, well, who's this girl in your life? Who is that one? How am I gonna get you back? How am I gonna hit you where it hurts? And there he sees our heroine, who is actually the sister of Declan's fiance, who we met in the 2nd book. And he sees her, and he's like, wait, I thought that one was Declan's fiance. And he thinks that they're using her to be like the 3rd in the relationship, like a mistress or whatever. And he instantly like feels for her, and he starts watching her and stalking her and trying to help her and trying to get out. He believes that like she doesn't want to be in this relationship with Declan and 𝓶𝓮, but she has to because she doesn't have any money. Like, he's just making up all these stories in her head because she thinks that she's like the most perfect angel, and there's no way that she could be a 3rd in the relationship, and not realizing that this is 𝓶𝓮's sister and she's just visiting them. But he starts stalking her, watching her outside of the window, calling her, sneaking in. When they go out to eat at different restaurants, he's in the bathroom like, run away from here, get away from him, here, take all this money. And it's just like he's stalking her and he wants to help her, and she's confused because she's like, what the hell what do you think I'm doing? Like, it's not really like coming together. She's like, there's just a guy who's watching me and looking out my window and giving me money. She's like so confused and lost, but she isn't really thinking too deeply about it. So when he finds out her true identity, it's a little bit too late because he's so obsessed with her and he ends up taking her. So there's captor-captive romance as well. He takes her and he realizes that like she's not captive, he is, and now he's just so obsessed with her and he just wants her, and it is so fun and it is so beautiful. And J.T. Jessinger just writes such funny romance books. Like, as serious as they are, like the humor of the heroines is so, like, I just love it so much. I always eat it up, and this is such a great stalker romance. It's not as heavily stalker, especially once he like takes her, then it's more like, I don't know, it's not as stalker heavy as the other books that I've mentioned, and like Haunting Adeline and There Are No Saints, but there is stalking elements and captor-captive elements as well, and it is amazing. And I just love when the guy realizes that like the person who's supposed to be captured is the girl, but like he's the one ensnared in like her and like just so obsessed with her. I highly recommend. It's such a great book. Those were the stalker romances that I am recommending today. Obviously there are the very popular ones that I've talked about so many times before, so I didn't want to do those ones, but I'll say it anyways. Read Haunting Adeline, read There Are No Saints, read Hooked. It's not really stalker, but you know. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a big like and a comment down below, and also subscribe so you never miss another upload from me. And if you've made it to the end of this video, leave me a black heart emoji. I love you all so much, and I will see you very shortly in a new video. Bye.